Hey guys, we are back. We are back. Hopefully, a little bit better signal this time. Hey, hello guys. Hello, guys and gals. Welcome. So, let's see if the signal is not gonna be busted tonight for the unknown reason that it got messed up last night. Okay, hold on. I can't. Halo Sam? Is that Halo San? Okay, I can't read. I can't read that right now. Hold on a second. Let me just set up my devices here. Just a sec. And welcome, my friends. Welcome. So let me just bring up all the broadcast stations in here. And we'll get right into the topic that we missed yesterday. We didn't get to discuss it. I was talking about other things in the first part of it, and then when I actually wanted to get into the topic, then the signal went down. So we actually didn't start on the topic of the Librem 5, which I wanted to discuss some more. I'm just here for the free drinks. Well, give me some. Hello, Twitty. Hello, AMG. Hello, Sun. Halo Sun. Life in the Spirit. Fear Lutzi is back. I'm in it. Hello, Mr. Man. Mr. is nervous about the broadcast. Why are you nervous? If it fails, we end the broadcast. So, nothing, the world doesn't end. Then I'll make more videos. It doesn't end. So, nothing to worry about. So, that's the problem with live stream. It's risky. Live stream is not an exact science. So, the videos, you have a chance to clean up any errors and so on. And you can even script it and such, and you can be prepared for it. I don't really know. Just so you know, when I do a live broadcast, I actually don't have a fixed plan. I don't have a script. It's all kind of extemporaneous here. We've developed the skill of just changing the topic to the moment, depending on what people are asking. Mike Crazer joined. Hello. So anyway, hacker game. Okay, so yes, you cannot wait for the Librem 5. But before, let me just continue on with what I was saying yesterday about devices like the Librem 5. The Librem 5 is not for all. And I'm actually wondering if some of you will never go to a device like a Librem 5 because you are stuck to the exciting times of apps from iOS and apps from Android, and you can't break away from there, even though you know the dangers in these apps and platforms. So, and I'm going to make it clear to you tonight, what is the difference between iOS, Android, and the Librem 5. There's a huge gulf there, because one of the things that, hey, Leary Geary, one of the things that app addiction, yes, Twitty, how will you broadcast? I broadcast using OBS. I don't use an app to broadcast to YouTube. YouTube is broadcast using OBS. Oh no, I can use an app at home. I'm talking about when I'm on the road. You can still run. You just have to know what the risks are and what it is you're dealing with. But I just want to make sure we understand where we all are, so that there's no commentary like I got on YouTube from someone who was dissatisfied. Hello, Geek of Krypton. Somebody was dissatisfied when I recommended a BlackBerry Bold 9900, and the guy said, "Well, I can't do all the sharing the photos. I can't share the social media. I can't do emoji cons and emoticons and things like that. And you're so used to all the little tricks, and you can't do the Snapchat and all that." And you can't change your face. And so because of that, you're so addicted to that stuff. You want to use Face app because you want to see how you look like when you're old. So you got to use the app, so you can't get away from that. So me, I don't need to know what I look like when I'm old, since I'm already old. So I already know what I look like. So I don't have to guess at what I look like old, unless maybe it's trying to tell me what I should look like at 100. So, yeah, no hair. I already know that part. So we shall see when that time comes. But there are so many things that that you have to was it Enlighten Up that says priorities? You have to establish your priorities so you understand what you're using a device for. It's not all about convenience. There's a little bit of convenience with using these, and there's a lot of evil to them. So this is an iPhone spy brick. This is an Android spy brick. I got many Androids. I got many iPhones, and they're all spy bricks. Hello, Harry Monk. They're all spy bricks. Now, what exactly do you give up when you hold one of these? These things track your location. No, it is not a recommended VPN, Geek of Krypton. The recommended VPN is indicated right there. There's the recommended VPN. It's in green. Hope you can see it. That is my VPN. No, PIA is not recommended at all. Not recommended. I did videos explaining it, so go watch that video. Anyway, so spy brick, self-deprecating spy brick. Spy. Is it self-deprecating? They want to deprecate it. It's not self-deprecating. It's Tim Cook wanting to deprecate it because they don't want this to last. Yes, PIA was once recommended by me, and then they've been zucking many of us, and so I left them over a year ago, and I said enough of this. I'm going to start my own VPN. So that's what I did. I started my own VPN, and much more pleasant experience, a lot more pleasant experience than using PIA. So Bytes VPN, and I also sell the Wi-Fi routers that come with this. This is yes. The problem is if the companies behaved like they used to, things would be fine. But they change, and the way the environment deals with them changes as well. So we don't have much of a choice. We have to change. So that's the way it is in this world. In cyber, in the world of privacy, you have to fight, and what works today may not work tomorrow because the enemy is always changing. So yes, please support the program by supporting this VPN, which will be the best VPN for you, guaranteed. This VPN, just to take a short, commercial here. This VPN so far has 100% renewal. Those who have been using it for a year, every one of them has renewed. The only one that hasn't renewed was a person who died. So, person died, so that person did not renew. Otherwise, it's pretty good. So anyway. These are not normal times we live in. I take serious personal responsibility to not help them anymore. Twitty is new to all this and new to my broadcast, and she's been so supportive of the program and the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And she's also a patron, and just. It just makes it worth it to see, Twitty and the rest of you who support what I do, because it is very depressing, because I feel like I'm doing this battle alone, like no one else is interested. So hopefully that changes over time, and YouTube is starting to promote my channel much more. So it's getting better. So anyway. Back to the topic. Where is my YouTube chat? My YouTube chat is not showing. Well, I'm not going to worry about it right now, but I can't worry about it right now. So YouTube chat is not showing. I can see the chat right here. Okay, so if you want to see the chat on YouTube, go to YouTube. Okay, hello, Whiskey Tango Tactical. Whiskey Tango. Now it's tactical? What the tact? Not what the zuck, what the tact? It's showing? Showing where? It's showing on YouTube, and Periscope chats are showing on Periscope, but it's not showing up on the screen. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, so let me talk to you about the issues that concern me. When you use a BlackBerry Bold, do you go around saying, well, I have the expectation that using an old phone from 2011 will give me exactly the same apps and the same capabilities as a current iPhone. If that's your expectation, uh, please erase that expectation now, because that is not what I said. What I said is, if this is going to be a spy brick that's spying on me at every moment, because this is tracking your location and somebody's selling your information as you walk around with this. Everywhere you go, one of the apps that you installed on this, one of these apps you're so proud of and you enjoy so much, like the Zucking Face app and Pokemon Go, and I don't think anyone uses Pokemon Go anymore, but all of these, even basic apps like the Weather Channel, they are all tracking your location and selling it. I've told you this many times, and I don't think you actually understand what it means when somebody tracks you everywhere you go with this, knows your IP address, and knows your goings on the internet, whatever you do, what other apps you're interacting with, and thus knows a lot about you, and then sells that information, and you think that is not important, and you don't think it's, you have nothing to hide, so it must not be of any significance. But again, for those of you who don't understand this, even as simple a thing as this tracks a lot more than that. But let's just stick to location for a moment. When this phone tracks my location, it knows what job I have, because it sees you going to work. It knows where you live. It knows where you shop for a supermarket. It knows which doctor you visit. It knows if you go to school. It knows if you pick up kids and where they go to school. It knows what kind of leisurely activities you do. It knows if you're rich, you're poor. It knows where you go on vacation. It knows if you've been to court. It knows what your religion is. It knows if you're, active in your religion. It knows all of that. You don't Google. You're gonna Google Bytes VPN. That is the weirdest comment I've ever heard. Just go to bytesvpn.com. Google Bytes VPN. So anyway, and a lot of you think, well, that's not important. So who cares if they know what I do, what my work is, and where I go? You seem to not understand that they have this data on every single user. We're talking, billions of people being tracked by these phones. So they actually have a profile of all of these people and know the characteristics I just mentioned. And that's on one piece of data. That is simply location. On that one piece of data, they have profiled the world. They know who's who, what religion, who's actually. They do a better census than the census. Okay? Trump doesn't need to add a question for, are you an illegal alien or not, or in the census, and he wanted to ask that. They don't need to know that. That is known from your movements from here. Okay? All you have to do is associate with a certain group of people, and they will know who you are. And I am flabbergasted at the fact that we don't really care that they're doing this. What about all the protesters in Portland today broadcasting Facebook? Of course, they know who they are, and they know. I'm not. I was at a gig all day, so I didn't know anything about any protests or anything. But yeah, they can identify every single person that was at the protest. So they know even anyone who's an activist. They know who's socially active. They know who's an introvert. And my reaction to that is I've had enough. And that's just location. What about the fact that you take a photo on this device and you upload it to social media like Facebook? And they track the serial number of your device. Facebook tracks all the people around you using MAC addresses based on who's on the same network. That means they know if you're on Facebook, this is a Facebook specific thing, they know the serial numbers, meaning the MAC addresses of every device around you, meaning they know your family's phones. They know who you're associating with, who you're related to. When any member of your family or friends go out to any other network, Facebook detects who they're associated with in those networks. I mean, that alone is so invasive. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, to know who you relate to, and you don't have any control of this. They're doing this in the background, and you have no say in this, and you don't even know they're doing this. And then you take a picture and because you don't understand what EXIF or EXIF data is. You take a picture and you don't have any realization that all the metadata about your phone, including your location, was included in the photo, and that is now used to track you and match you to other social media. You don't care. You don't think about that. On top of that, we will talk about a new phone, Doug. Yes, I ordered my new phone. It's going to be a while before I get one. On top of that, the new if you're like Doug, no, Doug is on iPhone 8. Doug is on iPhone 8. But for those of you on the later version of the iPhone, the XR and the XS, is it? So if you're on the this year's version of the iPhone, this is an X or 10. So if you're on the newer version of the iPhone, guess what? You can no longer replace the battery through a third party or by yourself. Since iPhone 7, I believe, you cannot replace the screen by yourself anymore. Can't replace the screen anymore on iPhone 7 and above. You have to send it to Apple. Okay? I don't know if you knew that, but I had to replace the cracked screen. Normally, I replace the screens myself and batteries myself. Starting in iPhone, the XR and XS, they actually put in a chip to recognize that it's not Apple installing it. And they pop an error message for you saying your phone is zocked up. Can't replace it anymore. So, and to this day, one of the most irritating things I got to deal with is this iPhone lack of a 3.5 millimeter jack for my headphone. Again today, I was at a gig. I wanted to play music in the background when we were taking a break. And I can't because I don't carry a lightning adapter. Because if I carry a lightning adapter, then I can't charge the device, and it's just a pain. I bought many kits that allowed me to, supposedly to charge and listen to the headphone at the same time. They didn't work. And so now iPhone is saying, we're going to, make you buy stuff from us. And at the same time, we're going to slow down your iPhone. After a few years, they're going to slow down. So we're going to force you to buy a new phone. You aren't authorized, Doug. The only people who can fix your iPhone 7 and above, as far as the screen goes, is Apple. And starting with this version of the iPhone, only Apple can change the battery. Okay, now, I have several adapters. They all failed. I bought so many adapters, none of them work. So I paid for it, it doesn't work. So just crappy stuff. Okay, if they were from Amazon, I could return them, but many of them I just bought in various places and they didn't work, and it's like wasted my money. In any case, they're trying to control us more. They don't only just control you with the data, they want to control even how you maintain your device to make sure it ages quickly. They make sure this gets old, and they're trying to add features on this that you and I don't need, and you are now so tied to this. And some of you say, well, I can't use a Librem 5 phone. What is it, Librem 5? I can't use this because I can't play my zucking games. So, you gave McAfee's, Mr. Mike Belkin was from Amazon. I'm not gonna put any more. I'm tired of buying things from this. I'm tired of buying any more devices. I'm just tired of it. Besides, I'm not gonna carry it. I'm not gonna carry it. So, which is one of the reasons I hate doing Periscope now on the phone, because, often I have to do it like late at night, and I need a headphone, and I don't have one. I don't have one handy that has a lightning port. So so I stopped. A lot of times I just do spend less time on headphones on this device. Okay. So what am I talking about now? I'm talking about a new device called a Librem 5, and some of you will not like it. So I want to make sure that the expectations are set so that people who appreciate what it is will appreciate it for what it is, and those who are tied to Tim Cook and to Google will say, we're not going to change. Okay? So those who want to get tracked will get tracked. So, by the way, the tracking is impervious to VPN. You can put a VPN on this and you will still be tracked. At least by the mothership, by Apple and Google. Put a VPN on here, it does not stop Apple and Google from tracking you. Okay, so weird, some YouTube comments are showing up here. I don't see any YouTube comments. Told you long ago, dude. It's okay. It's always over for you. Huge debate. Like how farmers aren't allowed to maintain their own equipment anymore. Really, Twitty? I didn't know about that. Yes, so, a lot of the, like iFixit, they're going to be in bad shape. That's why they're, trying to fight back and trying to pass a law for somebody to repair it. You bought a new keyboard. Good. Twitty is on Periscope too, so it doesn't mean you're gonna learn to play what? What are you gonna learn to play? You want to learn to play on iPhone? What are you gonna play on the iPhone? It's a digital full stop. Did you find out what's wrong with the last night's connection? I think my power line needed to be rebooted. Must have been a power surge. So I researched that, and the power line needed to be rebooted. So before the broadcast, I rebooted it, and then it seems to work fine after the reboot. So there must have been a power surge, and the power line wasn't able to recover. So my internet is supplied by a power line. So that's probably the reason. So next time, then I know that. Just reboot, or maybe find out what caused the power surge, and make sure it doesn't interrupt me during a broadcast. Okay, let's focus on what I'm trying to tell you about the Librem 5. How about you, Huge Byte? Are you ordering your Librem 5? One of the things about the Librem 5 that is, quite important is the fact that you can replace the battery. You can replace the battery. Now, to some of you, you'll say, Well, who cares if I can replace the battery? I told you that Apple will no longer allow you to replace the battery. They will replace the battery for you. You cannot put a surge protector on a power line. No. Enlighten up. Power line is a specific device. Power line, one word. Look at it in Google, on Amazon. Power line is a device. It's not a power line. It's power line. It's an Ethernet adapter. It's called power line. Okay, now you might say replacing the battery is a good reason to switch over. No, it's just not that. This phone can track you and you cannot turn it off. How do you turn off the tracking on this device? The only way to be assured that the tracking stops, is to remove the battery. The Librem 5 is the only phone in the new phone category that's not Android and iOS that allows the battery to be removed. You cannot remove batteries on Android and iOS anymore. You cannot replace the battery on an iPhone, Doug, even if you void. There's no warranty after a year. You can replace it in theory. You cannot replace the battery on an iPhone after a year if you have an iPhone XR or XS, or do they call it 10R and 10S? Anyway, that model. So not this. This one still has replaceable. I can still replace the battery by myself, but I am not allowed to replace the screen. Since iPhone 7, you can't replace the screen anymore. You have to send it to Apple where they can charge you double. Well, of course, Dean, that's the whole point. So as new phones come out, they don't allow you to take the batteries out anymore. So let's just say you're going to protest and you know you're being tracked by the phone. No, enlighten up. No, it's in fact, Snowden. Yes, I believe it's an OLED screen. Yes. Snowden himself said, I don't know if this is transmitting even with the battery off, because what is off? What is really off? We're talking about promiscuous mode and all that. What is really off? Is it emitting RF when it's off? He doesn't know. So the only way to actually know is to take out the battery. So we don't have a way of doing that on any new phone, iOS or Android. There's no way to do that. So the battery serves a security purpose, not just because I can replace it, but it's a security purpose. The second thing that the Librem 5 has is a standard 3.5 millimeter phone jack. There's a standard 3.5 millimeter phone jack. I don't have to worry about is it compatible or not. If I wrap the phone in tinfoil, will it block all 6 in and out? In theory, life of Crawford, but we have to test it. Actually, I will test that. I was going to make a video about that. I will test it for you. Satoshi's coming out of the... go ask Huge T-Byte. So off and Faraday bag, maybe. Just leave it at home. They already know where you are. If turn off the carrier, turn off Wi-Fi, and use airport mode, stop tracking? No, Dean. No, absolutely not. No. You will be tracked. There's no way to turn off the Wi-Fi promiscuous mode. There is no methodology for turning that off. No, you will be tracked 24/7 by Apple and Google. Now, they may stop third parties from tracking, but they themselves will not stop tracking it. They can find out where you are at all times. So So it's called promiscuous mode, and if you have access to that data, even offline, meaning, let's say that the promiscuous mode is caching the data, and then you see it later, that is enough because the MAC addresses and everything on there are what you use to track location. If I can spot a Wi-Fi router and the MAC address, I know your location. That's how that's done. So without if it's even caching the data in some sort of way, it's really, really bad. So we don't want that. So the Librem 5 does not. One of the things about the Librem 5 that is unique, it has hardware switch for the camera, for the microphone, for the GPS, for the radio, for the cell signal, for the motion, the gyroscope, meaning all the sensors can be turned off by a mechanical switch. Because of that, it is impossible for the operating system to track you if you shut it down by switch. So the Librem 5 is the only device in existence that can actually shut them down electrically. Electric way to shut it down. Price on this thing is around $650 at the moment. Okay? Plus tax. They charged me tax in California, so I paid $710. If you bought long ago, it was $599. So now it's $650. Now you're saying that's expensive. Well, this one is $1,300. Okay, the other thing about a Librem 5 phone, it comes with 32 gigabyte standard. I'll answer that in a moment, Dean. I'll get to that. It comes with 32 gigabyte standard, but you can plug in a micro SD card up to 1 terabyte. You can put a terabyte on your docking phone and you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to pay extra. Mario Any. They have a list of of frequencies and such. I'll get into that later because that's an important subtopic. Okay, so the memory of the device is 32 gigabytes for standard plus any storage you want up to 1 terabyte that you can just plug in to a micro SD card. I mean, that's, normally you have to pay. I had to pay, I believe, another couple of hundred to upgrade this to 64 gig or what? I think this is 128. How do you go about getting that? 32 is enough for you? No, 32 won't be enough for you because you don't know what you're going to need years from now. Let's say you store video on it. You may need more. Video takes up a lot of room. So knowing, for example, I need it because I use this to record gigs, which is video. And so I recorded videos in here. I recorded video today. And that means I'm going to use several gigabytes just from the one video. And this gives me the flexibility that I don't have to dump it because I have 128 gigabytes. Well, on a Librem 5, you can do the video and store it in any kind of, quantity up to 1 terabyte on top of the 32 gigabytes. So meaning, it's a device that you're never going to run out of memory in the long term. It's not going to be like you need an iPhone every couple of years. You may not need to change that phone for a long time. So, I didn't know you were near Maxine Waters, Doug. I thought I was the one near Maxine Waters. You're very far away from Maxine Waters. You almost want to cry for terabytes. What does that mean? Okay, so what should we know about the manufacturer? Remind me about that. But can't dual boot into a dummy login for TSA. Why not? Why couldn't you? It's sucking Linux. Do whatever you want. It's Linux. I have a 5 terabyte hard disk drive. Oh, you're going to carry your phone 5 terabytes on your phone? Doug wants to put 5 terabytes on the phone. Terabyte was not enough. Yeah, well, ask me that again later, Twitty. Remind me if I don't get to that. But let me just do in sequence to the hardware first, and then we'll get to that. So, memory-wise, it's going to be fairly unlimited for what we need, since the highest one that you can get is like 128 gigabytes on an iPhone, and now you have a terabyte. Now, as far as screen, it's I believe it's an OLED screen. And obviously it's a touch screen. And it's trying to remember what the specs were. I think it's 1280 by 1400 or something like that as far as resolution. And somebody will say, well, my iPhone is 4K. My iPhone is 4K. It's not enough to have that kind of resolution on this tiny little device. I don't know, guys. I cannot see dots smaller than that. I mean, my goodness, that's pretty small. I mean, this is a very small screen. So I don't know. I think I'll be happy with basically the same screen resolution as my PC on this. That's good enough for me. So I don't think that's going to worry me, because I don't think I can see that. Okay? Now, the problem is, as you increase resolution on the device, you also increase the use of battery. So one of the things that they may have had to choose was to say, well, what's the maximum that we want to make sure that the battery lasts longer than, let's say, an iPhone. So I think that, based on the fact that they limited the screen resolution to something that we reasonably don't need much more than that, I think we'll be okay with as far as battery power. So I'm satisfied with what they put in on the battery. It comes with like I said, it comes with 3 gigabytes of memory. 3 gigabytes of memory. And somebody will say again, well, that's not enough, except we're running Linux here. For those of you who don't know Linux is a lot more efficient than the other operating systems. So 3 gigabytes in Linux should be more than sufficient. I mean, Ubuntu isn't going to go, complain about 3 gigabytes. So I think we're just fine for Linux use for the long run. I mean, you can run Linux on a Chromebook. So you can run Linux on a Chromebook. So I think the Linux portion will be fine. Now, one of the things that they've done, and this is, let me go to the carrier side now, because many of you have asked what carriers are supported. They ship different chips for the carrier. They call it the baseband. I don't know why they call it baseband, but that's what it's called. The cell portion of the phone is called a baseband. Well, the way they designed the phone, the baseband is actually separate, meaning you can unplug it and plug a new one in. Now, this is a very important point in case you may not understand the applications of this. So they're selling this, their plan as advertised on their website. They're selling this with 2 basebands, and I think the difference is one's for Europe and one's for the U.S. So the U.S. one is made to support, the CDMA carriers, the GSM carriers, the LTEs, and so on. It does not support 5G. but there's no real 5G yet anyway. Now, then on the other hand, then there's the one for Europe. I don't think they have CDMA carriers in Europe, so it's all GSM. So they have two kinds of chips on there. Now, this is the important thing that's really, really interesting here. The baseband, or the cell portion of the phone, is actually replaceable. Replaceable. So in theory, if 5G comes out and you want to get spied on by 5G, I told you about beamforming and how 5G is going to spy on you. If you want to be spied on by 5G, no problem. No problem. Because in theory, you don't have to get a new phone. In theory, all you have to do is change the chip, or unplug it and put a new one in. Okay? It's going to be very, very interesting how that works, because in theory, if you say, well, I'm not going to use this with a cell signal, you can actually, in theory, unplug the carrier baseband, the baseband. I want to see it physically, but that's the implication with what they're saying. Because there's something else that this phone, this Librem 5 has that none of the other phones have. The Librem 5 phone has built-in voice over IP. In theory, you do not need a carrier. You can do voice calls using voice over IP, just like that. What do you call that device you plug into the wall and you get voice over IP? What do you call that? What brand is that? Somebody tell me if you recall. But where you just plug in the phone to the wall and then you get a phone number. Used to be very, very popular and everyone had one. I don't know if anyone still has one because nobody has a landline. But it was the option, instead of having a landline, you have voice over IP. The Librem 5 has built-in voice over IP. Magic Jack, yes. The Librem 5 has built-in voice over IP. There's the comments. I was wondering where the comments were. Okay. So voice over IP is going to be Magic Check. You have one. Okay. So the Librem 5 will have built-in voice over IP. Now, this is not going to be ready yet, but this is one of the things they announced. Yeah, you can use DSL with it, or you can use the carrier, because it does come with, a carrier with a SIM card. Okay, so one of the things that is very interesting about what Purism is planning for this device is that they're actually planning on doing a PBX kind of thing with the voice over IP, so you can get your own phone number without a carrier. Let me make sure that you just understood what I just said. Purism is working on, it's not going to be ready in this round, but they're going to update our software when it's done. And what, to hell with what, Mr. To hell with what, Mr. To hell with this Magic Jack, or to hell with me? Lance is giving me better specs here. Okay, so where was I? On the phone number. So Librem Purism is going to make it so that you can actually get a phone number and not have it connected to a phone company. Now, that's pretty interesting, because that has not happened yet. Our phone numbers currently are attached to the phone company or Google Voice, whoever gets the phone numbers. And it's very interesting if they can actually do like a Magic Jack and give us a phone number on the device, not attached to a carrier. Now, what is the advantage of having voice over IP? Well, voice over IP works over the internet, which means it will work on Wi-Fi, landline, or any kind of internet you have. You will get a phone signal, even if you're not connected to a carrier. Even if you're not connected to a carrier, So yeah, so that Dean, that's exactly. Hopefully, then they'll be able to do that as well and give us a phone number for the Librem 5 phone. So what's gonna happen? You have to connect Wi-Fi to use the phone, right? Yes, Jason, if you do not have a cell signal on it, but of course you can attach cell to it. But meaning even if you turn off, let's say you have a SIM card for your carrier and with data, and you said, well, I'm going to disconnect my carrier for a month. You don't lose your phone number. Do you understand what that means? That same phone can retain the phone number even as you take away the SIM card for the carrier. And you put the SIM card in, you're back in business. You can use it, on the go. But if you take it off because you want to have more security, you take out the SIM card because the identifiers on the SIM card, then you don't emit this piece of data that they use to track you. Let me just make this clear so you understand. The piece of data they use to track you is called IMEI, which is the number of the device, which is going to be on that baseband, plus the IMSI number, which is on the SIM card. If you're in voice over IP, none of that data is trackable. Here's the part that's very interesting. Librem 5 comes with, I believe it comes with software that has voice encryption. It has an actual application that can do voice encryption using voice over IP over a platform called Matrix. This is interesting enough that I actually will consider adding this to Brax, so maybe you can use BraxMe and also do phone calling with encryption, because there was no way to do that before. So if they can do voice over IP with encryption, wow, that's pretty interesting. Can you imagine if you're talking to somebody on the phone, and right now there's no way to have an encrypted conversation by voice. There's no way to do that. And now with this phone, you're going to be able to, and it's not going to be the normal dial-up. It's going to be some sort of app, but I'm excited by that. It's encrypted. No, I'm really excited by this. When I get it, I'm going to see what this means. But when I read that and I said, okay, what are the implications of that? It's not likely to be the same voice over IP that you're going to go, through a PBX and all that. It's going to be probably separate. It's going through this thing called Matrix, and I got to study it some more. Doesn't Signal do that? Signal, I don't know if the Signal encrypt. Maybe Signal. I'm not actually certain. I don't use Signal. I know I didn't track that part of Signal. The phone calling. But normally it's pretty difficult to encrypt a end to end. Normally it's pretty difficult to encrypt a phone signal because we don't have access to the operating system to do that, because the phone is handled at a different layer of the operating system. And for example, I can't. Periscope is encrypted. Are you making me laugh? Town no fam herds whatever. Periscope is encrypted. That is so funny. The only thing I do not like about the Linux phone is the most storage of 32 gigabytes. I just said it's 1 terabyte. Rich, 1 terabyte. Insert your external storage device. It has capacity to upgrade the memory, to put your own card, to add memory up to 1 terabyte more. So 1 terabyte of data, that's more than my iPhone. I'm not going to go complain. Yeah, I just thought that was one of the first things I said. Rich bird sale. Okay, so that's so anyway, the that's pretty cool, the encrypted portion. The other thing is that they actually put the baseband, the cell portion of the app, as well as the website access using HTML5, the browser. They're isolating the browser. I don't know how they're doing this. They must be using something generally available here, but they're isolating the browser for each website so that it doesn't see anything else other than themselves. This is something that I talk to you and teach you about. It's called browser isolation. And on the Librem 5, looks like they're designing it so that's automatic, this browser isolation. So that each use of the browser, meaning each tab, let's talk tabs here, will be isolated from the other tabs. And the fact that the device has mechanical switches for the camera, the gyroscope, the microphone, the two cameras. By the way, the cameras, I believe the FaceTime camera is 8 megapixels, which is pretty good for FaceTime, and the back one is, can't remember what the actual number is. I think it was 13 megapixels, or somebody can verify for me if it's 13 megapixels or not. But that's good. that should be quite acceptable. That's a good number. So I'm satisfied that the camera quality will be good. Doesn't WhatsApp do voice over IP? Donna, do you really want to use WhatsApp? I can tell you right now, WhatsApp isn't going to run on a Linux phone. It's not going to run on the Librem 5. Signal is not going to run on the Librem 5. Okay? None of those apps are going to run on the Librem 5 unless they program it specifically for a Librem 5. The Librem 5 is a completely different operating system. Those existing apps are not going to work. They're not going to work. The only apps that are going to work are those with web app capability, like Brax.me. Brax.me should work off the bat because it supports web apps. So it should work without any extra effort. But I will do some native things with it as I get one. I will actually start programming for it because I'm surprised about the popularity of the Librem 5. I mean, my videos, anytime I talk about the Librem 5 on YouTube, I get a lot of viewers, and obviously a lot of people know about the Librem 5 and want to know about it, so they're coming around. So there's a big demand for it. Surprisingly, this may be the if this works out, this may be the first successful competitor to iOS and Android, if it works. But in order for it to work, we have to acknowledge that there are going to be some deficiencies. And as long as we understand the value of having hardware switches, having removable carrier basebands, and just things that you can self-replace the battery, and so that you can actually control it without having to rely on some secret little devices in there. By the way, it's all open source. The main OS is going to be standard Linux, standard GNU Linux plus something called Pure OS made by Purism. So the Pure OS is going to add all the touch stuff on it. That's how you're going to be able to touch it, because Linux is not a touch system. So, but Pure OS is a variant of some of the other software that's used to put touch on Linux. So by doing that, then they can make Linux into a touch phone. It's actually standard Linux. If you plug in a monitor to, there's a USB-C connector to the, by the way, the Librem 5 is USB-C. You can connect a HDMI display to it and use a Bluetooth keyboard, and you actually have a full Linux computer. You're gonna have a quad-core 1.5 gigahertz computer. So it's gonna be very, very interesting, because it's gonna be fairly powerful Linux computer on the docking phone. What's that, Twitty? I just read also the hardware kill switches for camera microphone. Yes, that's what I just said. Yes, the hardware kill switches for camera microphone, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and baseband. I didn't mention the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So yeah, so all of that stopped the tracking. So and yet you want to communicate, and you're saying, well, I'm on the road, and I don't want to turn on the carrier because it's going to track me. So you turn it on. Guess what? It is not Google Android and it's not iOS. So even if you use Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi, where does the DVD go? Well, the Wi-Fi will not do triangulation because it doesn't report that. So I will verify that myself. But at the moment, the way they are saying it's designed, that they can't track you with Wi-Fi triangulation because that level of tracking where it tracks, the promiscuous mode and all that is at the OS level. So if the OS doesn't support it, then it's not going to track that. Plus the fact that you can turn off the GPS. Okay? Well, it does have huge byte. It does have USB-C. So you may be able to run your DVD. It's kind of interesting. The little phone is going to be a little Linux computer. You can actually go put Ubuntu on it and put a command line. No, it will not be a command line. It's touch screen. I think somebody was asking that yesterday if the phone will be command line. No, you can do command line on it, I am certain, with a keyboard, but it's intended to be touch screen. So the limitations of the phone will be related to apps, because there will be no apps initially until people start designing their first apps on Linux with touchscreen. One of the biggest issues with, or only issues with a Linux phone is the touchscreen. Now that there's an ability to integrate touch interfaces to that, many people can program things that can actually utilize it. I certainly can. So I myself may build apps for the Librem 5 if it turns out there's going to be a lot of users with it, and hopefully it doesn't become a specialty product like a BlackBerry. Because one of the advantages of the Librem 5 is, in theory, you can have that phone for 10 years and it will still be practical in 10 years, whereas these devices don't last that long. HTML5 is fine for apps, no worry. Wonder how long before BTC blockchain bigger than 1 terabyte. How big is it now, UCbyte? It's getting up there. It's like, in the... It's in a how many is it 100 or 200 gigabytes? It's somewhere around there, right? So I made an audiobook player for it. It was fun. Python a GTX. Yeah, you already made one for Librem 5. You had the development kit. I didn't progress to, worrying about getting a developer kit. I'm just going to wait for it to come out because I already have an app I know will work on there. So I'll worry about it when the time comes because there's a lot of things I could theoretically program on it. Yes, you can. Linux comes with Python by default. So in theory, you can run Python directly on there and build apps directly. Yes, it's going to be like a PC. So there's a lot of practical stuff that you can do with this. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be more exciting than you think, because now we're going to be able to build apps without having to care about the Zucking App Store. Okay. Oh, is Hacker's Game Hacker's Game is a broadcaster? I mean a YouTube I'm gonna have to follow you later there, Hacker's Game. We'll follow you after the broadcast, or subscribe. I'll subscribe to you after the broadcast and check out what you got. Awesome. Zucking App Store. Yes, I am so sick. Well, I have to be on the App Store. I have an app, but I don't want to. Yes, subscribe to Hacker's Game. I certainly will. I will subscribe to Hacker's Game. If he did a, if he put a Python program on it, on the Linux phone, I'm going to be excited. I'm going to show you this later on because I'm a maker myself, and this is a security camera that I made. It's going to be available soon. Security camera. PoE. I actually didn't close the case so you can see the inside. Hopefully I don't choke the wires here, but there's all the circuitry in there. And this is working so well right now. This is giving me motion video for any event that happens in my it's attached by camera mount on the back. Typically you'd mount it like that, kind of at an angle, and it captures video in every motion. And I wrote it in Python. So yes, Hacker's Game, Python. So I have a nice little Python program in there. I wish I had a PoE switch. Hacker's Game, FYI, I went to Amazon and bought a PoE switch, and it sucking didn't work. See, the problem with PoE switches, Hacker's Game, is they don't tell you if it's a active PoE or passive PoE, and as it turns out, a lot of them are passive PoE, which means they can't negotiate the voltage. So a lot of devices don't work. So, for those of you who don't know PoE, there's two kinds, active and passive. And in order for it to work, all of the devices have to be on active PoE. Otherwise, it's not really PoE. So, so this one is expecting an active PoE or power over Ethernet. So that's the only plug to this device, is you actually plug it into the Ethernet. There's no other power or anything. It's only one cord that goes in here. You plug it in the Ethernet to this, and that's it. You obviously have to power the Ethernet, but that's a separate case. So, so that's why it's fairly easy to install this, because since Ethernet can be a flat cable, you can actually, I put my cable, I can run my cable under the garage door without even punching a hole on the wall because it's a flat cable. So I could do that. I did not, I already have a hole, so I don't need it, but I'll show you a picture of that, So yeah, so this is a prototype of our security camera. This is one of the many products I'm going to be providing, and it's like very, very nice results with the video, HD video that's streaming to my Braxme account. When I use my Braxme account, I can see all the video. PO Ethernet. Okay, I thought it was point of entry. Yeah, power over Ethernet. Enlighten up. Where did I get the case? I made it. This is our case, custom design. Everything here is custom fit. You can see the inside here. Custom mounts. Everything is custom mounted. All of that is all custom mounted right there. So the mount is built into the case. It's 3D printed. It's a 3D printed case. So 250 gigabytes BTC. That's, I was so close. Huge D-byte. I was close. I said a couple hundred gigabytes. I was really close. Okay, so yes, so I'll follow you later, Hacker's Game. You sound like a very interesting channel, so I will follow you or subscribe to you later on. So anyway, back to what I'm talking about. Could you imagine if you can write Python programs with touch screen right directly on the phone? I can make a bunch of encryption things right on the Librem 5. This is going to be exciting. You know how hard it is to write programs on Apple's platforms or Google's platforms. This is gonna be, even my, I have an app to, catch a man in the middle, and Apple didn't want to release it on iOS. Zuck them. Zuck them. Hello, Northern Rush. So I'm really excited about what you can do with this. I just followed you on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Jay Bentley. So I'm excited. I'm excited by the possibilities here, and see what Hackers Game has done so far. Did you actually program on a Librem 5 Hackers Game or just Linux? Did you do Librem 5 Hackers Game? So are you a gamer or a hacker? Which is which? I'm confused. Are you a gamer or a hacker or both? Maybe you're both. Maybe you're both. So anyway, while waiting for him to answer, so it's gonna be really exciting because Linux, but I test on my dev kit. Okay, over SSH. Okay, so I'm obviously I do Linux programming because this is running a Raspberry Pi, so running Raspbian on there. So, and I programmed it in Python. So Hackers Game is the only YouTuber I've found who has actively shown his development on the Librem 5 dev kit. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Who doesn't hack while playing games? I don't. Who doesn't hack while playing games? Well, I don't play zucking games, so there you go. I am not. I'm not a gamer. You're gonna have to get your price point. You are going to have to get your price point down right. Price point on what, Jay Bentley? You mean on this? This is a much more sophisticated device than the stuff you buy on Amazon. So this isn't gonna be isn't gonna be a cheapo device. This is not. Yeah. So just the parts alone, it comes already with storage built in already. Everything is already built in. So it's high resolution lens. I have a high resolution version of this too, that I'm waiting for the part, and it's a 4K security camera. It's a security camera that it's part of a security system. I build security products here and VPNs and Wi-Fi routers and Tor routers and so on. And I decided that it's important to include physical security in the game. So I'm building these physical security products, and there's going to be a series of them. This is the camera portion. And you do not want to use something like Ring. You do not want Ring. Okay? If you want to be unsafe, you use Ring. If you want to not be subject to Alexa Echo, then you do not want Ring. Back in the days, we go outside. Old people. Yeah, old man. Yep, I'm an old man. Actually, that's not. I had games when a long time ago, and the problem is that the last thing I want to do is sit on a computer and play a zucking game, okay? Because I'm on the computer all day. So the last thing I want to do is do more stuff on the computer. So when I want to relax, I want to read. I read books. I read every night, and I can't sleep without reading. So I read, and that's because I read, I don't have time for games. So what are you saying? Back in the days, we go. Northern Rush, that is the best way to play. Just don't hack online games. StarCraft stock hack was why not get some free fake current? What? Some Whole Foods have no security cameras. Whole Foods doesn't have security cameras. They don't get the Ring for free. That's very funny. Whole Foods doesn't. Amazon said we're gonna not put a ring on our property. Reading is good, man. I like reading too. Well, I read a lot. I read a lot. So I typically will finish several books a week. So depending on how busy I am, between 2 to 3 books a week, or 2 to 4 books a week. That's just my average. So that's how I relax. It's by reading books. Some of you, spend your time doing other things, and my activities are pretty tame. I just read books. Any non-cloud NVR safe? Uh, my I'm storing the in my test, and I'm gonna have to decide how to do this. In my test, I'm storing the videos on Braxme Cloud, encrypted, and that's how I'm doing it right now. You don't have to. The storage is on the device. So if you want to feel safer and not have any app, you can just use it on your house. Use a browser to access your videos, and that'll be fine. You don't have to use the cloud. But if you use the cloud, it's going to be on secure Braxme platform. It's not going to be on Alexa Echo. Kindle, yes, I am. Thank you, Eagle Source. It's very nice of you, Eagle Source. Eagle Source. Thank you. That was not discussed tonight. Okay, what am I missing here? Enlighten up. How is a camera private? Well, it's your camera. It doesn't, it does. You cannot. My cameras cannot be controlled from the outside. There's no remote access. You can only control it from inside the LAN. So you can't hack it. These cameras, remember, I'm a security expert. My cameras are not hackable from the outside. They do not have any interface for hacking. There's no port forwarding, none of that. No, nothing. It doesn't need any of that. You need access to it. You get it through a secure platform by push. It pushes the data out. It doesn't pull data in. Sorry. It pulls data in. It doesn't push data out. No, I got that wrong. You can't push data into it. Okay, I gotta do some then. What? Hacking doesn't necessarily mean penetrating somebody else's system. It could just be manipulating something to operate in a way that wasn't intended. Hacking can be fun. You talking to me, some dude? I mean, I'm the expert at that. I'm the hacking expert. But anyway, I obviously I'm a cybersecurity expert, so I'm not going to go sell you a product that's going to be spying on your house. This one is one way. There is no way to control this from the outside. There is no way somebody can insert themselves into this, even if you have this. This is made for outdoors. This is not an indoor camera. But the way I have it designed, it can't be controlled by somebody else. Okay? So, and it's part of a system. If you have 5 of these, all the data will be integrated into one. It's not. This is not made to be a minor thing. It's going to be, if you install several cameras and some of my sensors, they're all automatically integrated. You don't have to do anything. It's built into do integrated system. I was trying to tell them the security does not always mean privacy. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, it's a different topic, but this is I'm being very careful with releasing this. I'm not rushing to release it. So in theory, we can start selling this next week, but not yet. I want to test it some more and build some of the other products with it, and then we can start selling that. Probably I was expecting to start selling it in August, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be ready in August. So, I certainly hope to reach the make several products ready by the Christmas season. So you can remotely see home camera via app on the phone. Yes, hey, yes, you can, if you want. You don't have to. You can disable it. Yes, hey, correct. There's a sample screenshot on Brax.me where I put in a sample screenshot of it, so you can see, the high quality that you will see from it. And you can run it on any PC. You can run it on. You can run it from your house. You can run it on any browser. From your phone, you can see all of your data, and it's uploading every single video right now to Brax.me. Everything is being uploaded. So some of the books I read, I put on my links there for you to read as well. Like that one on EMP. Has motion detector sensor alert? Yep, it has. And I'm building one that I was using a radar sensor earlier. Hey, I was doing a radar sensor. It was too sensitive. It was giving too many false alarms. So I'm going to do something else with the radar sensor. I got a lot of radar sensors. So I'm going to build something a little bit different with the radar sensor. My concept right now is to put the radar sensor behind the door so that if anyone approaches the door, it sets off the alarm even before they knock or ring the doorbell. Hello, Ali, my friend. So that's my plan right now, is to put the sensor, the radar, behind the door. The radar will go through the door and spot anyone coming close. And then if somebody comes close to the door, it should set an alarm. So that way, then that can be combined with all the other sensors, and you can look at the camera and see who just walked in there, who just came close to the door. Because that's a problem right now, is too many notifications, and it doesn't really give you an idea what the threat is. So if you have many of these sensors, then you will have a better indication if there's a real threat or not before they cross into the house. We have a lots of birds outside our door. They're not going to be a problem, Sam. What distance would they be from the door? I don't know, Eagle Swords, because it's adjustable. I have to test. Right now, it's too sensitive. Right now, it's sensing it way too far. So I'm gonna, I have to kind of limit the signal, put a metal to block the signal so it doesn't, the radar doesn't go too strongly. It's very, very strong. Does camera require Bytes VPN? No, hey, it does not. No. No, but it does require a network. It does require a fast network to run it. It's not Wi-Fi. The reason it's not Wi-Fi, it's sending a signal every time it detects motion. It's sending 5 megabyte files constantly. It's a lot of traffic. 5 megabytes every time something moves. 5 megabytes. That's a lot of video. And that's I can cut it down to a photo, but for security reasons, I thought it would be an option to go all the way down to full security, and then it's up to you later on. As I adjust the pricing to see what kind of option you want, but at least it's going to be built in. It's built in already to handle the max. Can the camera be always on set of motion only? It kind of it doesn't need to be, hey, because the motion is very sensitive. So it's already tracking everything. So can you run Linux on Android phones? No, because the boot sector, no. Not, I mean, if you want to, you mean take over and put a Linux phone on it? Yeah, I guess you do you root it. If you want to root it, but that's not what we're talking about. What is the point of running a Linux phone without a touch interface to it? Then you just turn it into just a standard computer. What license is the source? This it's not open source. Hackers, you mind my software here? It's open, but it's not open source. It's open. It's not encrypted. You can see the source code. At the moment, there's no audio on the cam. At the moment, there's no audio. Trying to solve that problem a little different way. So, can you make it smaller? It's all the PoE stuff in there. You can see it's already. If you look inside there. So there's room to make it slightly smaller, but not much. Okay? I mean, it's, can you see that? So, you know, there is some room, but it's getting tight because, you know, the reason that we're using instead of a Raspberry Pi Zero, a smaller device, it's because I can't because the way the cables are on here. No, I can't. I can't have. No, see the cable sticking on the bottom. There. So, you know, max I can maybe reduce 1/2 inch. Yeah, it's getting close to the limit here. I've had, in case you're wondering if I know anything about security systems, you know, I've had every security product out there. I've been a long-time subscriber to ADT, Spectrum, Edison, 10 million different companies. You know, every security company I've had a subscription with. I have multiple cameras. I took away a fairly expensive camera system that I had before, and I replaced it with mine, and mine is better. Much, much better, and so easy to use compared to that. And that, my existing one didn't have an app anyway, and mine has an app. So it's just so simple. I can, you know, I actually, I have full access to it. I don't know if I can show it. Can I show it here? Probably not, but you probably can't see it if I flip the screen here. But I can actually see, there's a photo of this in Brax.me, but I don't know if you can see that. There's a security. There's some videos there. Okay, that's nighttime video. So there's, can you see that? That's live video of, that's a live video of, you know, of the thing. Okay, so, I mean, you can't see. Yes, it's on a no, this is on Brax.me. It's on a encrypted, it's encrypted in the Brax.me encrypted app. So this is running on my phone, so I can see this data anywhere. This is, you don't have to have this. You can just use it on a, you can just use it on your home system without any connect. Hello, hi. I came here late. You don't have to use the Brax.me app. That's an option. But if you use it, then you have access to it. You know, I don't know if you can see the motion there. Hard to see, but you know, you can see it's pretty clear. How secure is which app? Brax.me app? The Brax.me is a secure, it's an encrypted app by nature. It has end-to-end encryption even. Brax.me is already a secure app. There are many users on Brax.me. It's already an existing secure app. It's like Telegram, and what I did was for the moment integrated the what I call Brax Secure on it. Later on, Later on, I may make a separate app for it, but at the moment, I just added it to Brax Me. But it could be a separate app called Brax Secure. So anyway, that's not my topic tonight. But we just got distracted. You're a noob. We just got distracted because Hackers Game was talking about doing development on Linux, and I'm just showing you that I do development on Linux all day. That's what I do. So I'm just showing you what I'm doing there. If the feds ask for records, would you give them? There's no records, Ryan C. Powers, because there's no identity. Brax.me doesn't know who you are. There's no IP address. There's no logs. There's no required email address. You can do authentication using a what do you call this? TOTP app like Google Authenticator or Authy. So you don't even need an email address. So we don't really know who you are. If you go to my app and call yourself John Wick, then you're John Wick. My VPN has no data either. My VPN has absolutely no log, zero, nothing. There is nothing. What I will do is later on, when I get a chance, give me some time here because I'm too busy. I'll do a canary page for you, but you can just do a canary question. You can ask me every night. You can ask me every night if you know a canary question, and you should know what the question is. And then if I don't answer, then you'll know what the answer is. Thank you. Subscribe to my YouTube. Yes, please do. Please subscribe to my YouTube. So lots of action on the YouTube channel. Brax is very, very secure. So those of you you know, in all the years that people have been using Brax, you tell me who's had their data lost or if Brax has ever been hacked. So it's never been hacked, and I hack it. I self-hack it constantly to make sure I can you know, I know how to break into it. And come on, no logs, come on over. It's great to see it. Active Librem 5 community. I am a canary question is, I will only state this here because I, you know, at the proper moment I can't suggest a question to you, but the question is, has any federal agency or government agency subpoenaed records from X? In my case, Bytes VPN or BraxMe or any of that. You can ask me that question. And there will be, I can give you a response or no response. If there is if I have been subpoenaed, if I've been subpoenaed in any way, whatever, I can't give you a response. The response will never be yes. It's either no response or a negative response, meaning no such request. Okay, so you can ask me that anytime, and I will respond. Again, the only response is no one's asked for that, or I'll just be quiet. Okay? If I'm quiet, then you know what the answer is. Please don't ask me. Okay? If I'm quiet, if you ask me a question and I don't respond, then unless I didn't see your comment, but if you ask me and you repeatedly ask me and I don't answer, then you know what the answer is. Okay? So just so you know. So yes, BraxMe is it a VPN reseller? I am not a VPN reseller, Ryan C. Powers. Bytes VPN is my VPN. These are my servers. They're run by me, Rob Braxman. They are Rob Braxman VPNs. US only. All my servers are no enlighten up. I will not say anything. If I am, if I don't answer, I don't answer. Off-site servers, they're all in the U.S. They're not here. No, they're not. They're in ISPs all over the country. They're not in my They're not in my house, if that's what you're asking. No. They're in ISPs all over. They're not on Amazon. They're in separate ISPs, US only, because in the US, they need a warrant to be able to, if you're going to hack a device, they need a warrant. And you will know, because you can ask me a canary question. And no. So if you ask me, no one's asked me the question yet, but okay. No one's asked me the question. I'm so stoked. Quake is already ported to it? Some dude? Really? If it's in Russia, you're zucked. In Russia, they actually, PIA was in Russia. And the Russians actually just went over to the office of PIA and took the servers physically. They physically just took over the servers. And if there are any logs on them, then you're all sucked. But in my case, there are no logs. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, my servers only have 32 gigabytes of disk space. My servers are very large CPUs with no disk space. Okay, let me repeat that. PIA gave logs. I do not have any logs because there's no disk space for it. There's 32 gigabytes. That includes the operating system. And with that configuration, it's impossible to have a log. Impossible. Puritan showed Quake running on the L5. So yeah, I'm actually yes. Help me grow, please, because I will help you. Help me help you. My goal is to provide you with privacy. Follow the YouTube. He knows what. Yes, John Wick. Zuck. I'm excited. I mean, Hacker's Game. I didn't really think Hacker's Game. I actually was gonna, write in some complex language like C on Linux, and you actually gave me an idea. If I can write it in Python, if I can write apps in Python on a Linux phone, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much simpler. Because I'm a C programmer, so. I thought, I had to do something like an Objective-C kind of thing, or write in Java, and, too much overhead. Why C++ on Linux Python better? Why C++ Linux on Linux Python better? I'm a C programmer, so I'm, I have, I'm a very advanced, super advanced C programmer. So, I can do anything. I've done everything. So there's no programming task I haven't done. But lately, I no longer spend my time on C. I only look at C when I'm working on my old programs. But, if I'm on a server, I use PHP. If I'm on a standalone computer, I use Python. Linux Python? No. Python, not Linux Python. I don't really care if it's on Linux or not. No logs, great. Guessing you don't save payment info either. I use PayPal, so I don't have any record of the actual transaction, the financial transaction itself, other than what's on PayPal. Sorry, should rephrase it. Ever use Unraid? No. I meant Linux OS, not Linux Python. I don't, to me, it doesn't matter what the OS is, but the idea of being able to do, all my servers are Linux. This device that I made here, this is Linux. Okay, so all my servers are Linux. So I don't really care what the platform is. I can run Linux, Windows, whatever. But obviously, it's kind of stupid not to run Linux because it doesn't use a lot of resources and it's fucking free. So why do I need to pay for some other operating system like Windows when I can use Linux for free? So Linux. So I'm excited about what can be done on a Librem 5 phone now that Hacker's Game has suggested that he's used Linux on it. Unraid is a Linux server software. I don't use, is that is Unraid a some sort of RAID controller? What is that? What is Unraid? Is that a RAID controller? I don't use RAID. I use servers in the cloud, so I don't have to worry about RAID. They do all that. I just run a virtual machine or something. So my actual servers are likely just virtual machines when I have servers. My VPNs are actual a media server. Okay, my VPNs are actual separate servers. So my VPN is big giant servers. Okay, they're actual physically separate servers. They're not virtual machines. So, but my apps are running. I have, when I run Braxmead runs on many servers. So Braxmead runs on many servers. It runs on the AWS cloud. Android runs on JRE. No, Android software is Java. Yes. Just downloaded Brax.me. Okay, so Brax.me, just talk to us there. Everyone on Brax.me is security oriented. So you'll find people with the same beliefs in privacy and so on. Plus some crazies, typical social media. There's some crazies in there too. Or maybe you're the crazy. Come on, join us on Brax.me. Don't be intimidated by any crazy because, everyone's actually a nice person. If you spot a crazy in there, don't worry about it. Everyone's a very, very nice person. I pretty much know everyone on there. Any special permission needed to run it? You need to give it photo permission if you want to upload photos like your picture. But guess what? You can remove the permission after you do that. You could give it short-term permissions only if you want. It doesn't need contacts. It doesn't need any of that. There's very little permissions it needs. It just needs the camera. But you can turn it off. If you want to upload a photo, release the permission for it, and then lock it up again. It's up to you. It doesn't really require much permissions. But that's a basic one. Camera, because it needs it for uploading photos. So if you upload a photo to Brax.me, it removes the EXIF data. So photos uploaded to Brax.me have no metadata. Like every other app that asks for full access and stores everything. John Wick, my app doesn't even ask for email. Email is not required. If you do not provide email, you can authenticate yourself using Google Authenticator or Authy, and you will be able to recover your password without having an email address. So you do not need an email address with Brax.me. It's not a requirement. If you do not have Authy or Google Authenticator, you need the email or a phone number to recover your password if you care. If you don't care, we don't care either. We're not asking you for information. Nobody asks you for your real name. Nobody asks you for anything. Yes, John Wick. So my app is a little bit different because I'm a privacy guy. So nobody, I got people talking to me with the initial J, T, A. I mean, I don't know who these people are. One letter. Come on, man. After all this time, Cam. So I don't ask for anything. So that's part of, and there's no IP address tracking. I'm telling you, I showed you, I publicly displayed the server logs from Brax.me, and there are no IP addresses. This Max. Hi, Rob. This Max. Who is Max? Who's Max? You're John Wick. So when you go there, except there's already a John Wick there. We already have a John Wick. So you may not be able to use the John Wick itself because we have a John Wick on Periscope. People shouldn't have to worry if they run a VPN. Still, Still, you can be tracked. Even with a VPN, your location can be tracked if you do Wi-Fi triangulation. Brax doesn't have any of that. I'm the 69 John Wick. Well, you are the 69 John Wick, but we have a John Wick who's a broadcaster on Periscope. That's not his real name. We know his real name. His real name is... Somebody can tell me his real name. He's a John Wick of politics. That's what he calls himself. I was in New York. I was on the Van Wycliffe in New York. Don't name drop. Don't name drop. What's his name? Begins with A. Security First. He's a broadcaster. He has an open account on. He used the same name on Periscope as on Brax, so we all know who he is. Adam Gingrich. There you go. So Adam Gingrich is called John Wick on Periscope. And he's also on Brax as John Wick. I've been watching you on YouTube. Yes, please watch me on YouTube. Internet is God. So you are Max on YouTube. I don't see Max here tonight, though. So why aren't you watching me on YouTube? So anyway, back to what we're talking about with the Librem 5. Can you imagine just the ease of developing encrypted applications? Using even something easy to use like Python on a Librem 5. I mean, I'm really excited by this. I mean, it's the fact that Max that works for Facebook. You're the Max that works for Facebook? Yes! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Well, you have so many names before, so now you... Max from Zucking Facebook. I don't see Periscope comments on YouTube. That's correct. I don't have I don't have a way to do that at the moment. I have a way to put YouTube comments on there, but not. No, Max here knows my feelings about Zucking Zuckbook. I don't have to go into a anti-Facebook rant tonight, even though Max is here. Because Max makes a lot of money from Facebook. So he loves Facebook. He loves Zuck. Max also said, I remember when Max said, or Internet is God said, that, you should get a lot of burner phones. That's what Max said. Get a lot of burner phones. So Max, go watch my Zucking video on burner phones, and to show you that the Zucking objective of getting multiple burner phones is useless. It's better to get a Librem 5 phone and just turn it off and use voice over IP instead of using a burner phone. Forget the Zucking burner phone. Yeah, I remember now. Remember. So just go back to the old school Motorola. No, I have a BlackBerry. I have an old BlackBerry Bold. No location. I have a BlackBerry Bold, so when I need to go and not be tracked, I carry the BlackBerry Bold. You can transfer the SIM card of this to the BlackBerry Bold, and there you go. But I won't need to do that when I shift to the Librem 5. I'm getting more excited every day about the Librem 5. Really am. There's going to be a lot of possibilities for this, but not at the beginning. At the beginning, a lot of you, they said third quarter. So third quarter is what? September, right? They say that, for one thing, black phones are useless. The black phones, let me just tell you about what the black phone does. They said they encrypt the voice over IP. They don't. They do standard voice over IP, and they use a VPN to the server of the black phone. No wonder they shut down. You can't even buy a black phone anymore. So get a burner GSM baseband module. So hackers game, this is what's so exciting about the Librem 5, is that you can put your own baseband. Can you Can you imagine this? Because one of the identifiers of your device is actually the carrier baseband. So if you can, is it compatible though? I mean, you know, if if it's like take the take the baseband and plug it in kind of thing, do they have like similar connections? I haven't seen a baseband, so. But if they, can you imagine that if you can actually replace your own baseband, then you can buy a burner phone and then different IMEI and stick it into the Librem. Oh, that would be fantastic. That will be like, I'm sure somebody will create a hack for that. Have a good, see you on, there you go, John Wick. I am excited. There's a big possibility there. So I had to get a broad Mobi Chinese baseband because the Gemalto didn't support my local tower band. So how do you some dude are you saying you already have some development version of a Librem 5? You already have a Librem 5? How come you're talking about the Broad Mobi and the Gemalto? I mean, I don't have anything. I just see it, mentioned, and you're talking about actually getting your baseband. You two are much much advanced here. If you already got units, I don't have anything. I'm going to order with it. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm sure they'll ship me what's appropriate for my country. So I don't think I have to worry about that. If I'm in the U.S., I'm sure they'll sell me the U.S. version of the baseband. So, and it's listed in there what it supports. So either one or the other, and then you should be able to, I'm on GSM anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure if I'm using a VPN with my non-router connected cell, I think I'm quite safe. Commander Jeff is still on. You're still on, your own expectations, Commander Jeff. You keep telling me that because you don't know how Wi-Fi triangulation works. The Gemalto lacks many bands. Yes, I saw that. You need to. I didn't choose any. Yeah, I presume Broad Mobi will be the one included because the Gemalto I think is for Europe. But they didn't ask me. When did they ask you to ship? Trap Star. My goodness, Trap Star, I haven't seen you in a long time. So they didn't ask me for what chip I'm supposed to. How are you asking this? I made by order. They didn't ask me what chip I needed. So I don't understand. So they will ask you in email when they're about to ship, and Gemalto is the default for the U.S. So some dude. Well, maybe I want both. Maybe I get. Can I get a stack of chips? Some dude. Can I say I want 5 of them, 10 of them, so that I have different IMEIs? So some dude, are you saying you already got an email? It's going to be shipped. Have you already received an email saying they're shipping? I don't use the same VPN over time. Come on, Camaro Jeff. I already know you use NordVPN because you're using all these foreign VPNs that are the ones that are even more tracked. So some dude, did you already get an email? I'm just getting more exciting here because if it's actually going to happen soon. I have no expectation of getting it soon. My expectation is more like December. No, you ask Purism, and they advise me that that's how they will allow you to choose by email when the first run is ready to go. I probably won't be in the first run. I've been in a training camp. I'm in the East Coast. Your stream has been late for my schedule. Oh, too bad, Trap Star. So, okay, so Gemalto versus Broad Mobi. So Broad Mobi is I looked, and yes, Broad Mobi had more frequencies. So it may not matter to me since I'm on T-Mobile. So my frequencies will likely be compatible with Europe anyway. So it may not matter to me which one they send, but I may want a stack of them. I may want a stack of. So that's such an advantage, guys. Can you imagine a phone where you can just replace the baseband for the carrier? So you just if you want to change the cell on your phone, just take off the chip, put a new one in, and you're done. That's exciting. That's exciting. So the Librem company should be talking to potential customers on Brax, not email. So how are they making up for all the money they will lose not spying on you? It's the Linux Lucifer Sam. I already answered that. It's a touch screen. Linux phone all CLI. It comes with a OS. The touchscreen elements are in something called Pure OS, which sits on top of Ubuntu. I believe you can do CLI on it. How to scope ban accounts with IP or phone ID. I believe they do it with IP and email address. Yeah, seriously, Lucifer Sam, I believe you can do CLI on it. There's a development kit you can do. You can program. So if you're gonna do programming, you can pull up your nano editor. When is the Brax phone coming out? So no, it's pretty cool, and there's many things that I'm really excited about. With this, I'm gonna need. I'm still gonna need an iPhone because I have an iPhone app, but it's good not to be relying on this. I believe you have a choice of Ubuntu and others. I believe I believe you can choose. You can load different versions of Linux on it. Why did I just read about Brax getting hacked? Brax has never been hacked. You want a Kali Linux phone? Yes. You probably want a Hunix phone or Tails. I'd like to see if you can use Tails on that. So, there's this is almost like a reminds me of a Raspberry Pi. The Librem 5. The fact that if you can program everything on the Raspberry on a Raspberry Pi, just like you can do on the Librem 5, it's gonna be. There's so many possibilities. How can I get around getting bought for evading? Use a VPN. Tails doesn't work on ARM architecture. There you go, Lucifer Sam. I don't need to use Tails, so I don't need to use Tails. It doesn't matter. Anyway, somebody asked me a bit. Twitty asked me, and I don't know if Twitty's still here, but Twitty asked me, what about the company Purism? Okay. So Purism has been around a while. I've known about Purism for many years. Purism was making secure laptops. They don't ban you from voice recognition, no. But anyway, Purism was making secure laptops for a while. They've always been focused on the same issues I have. Their product's a little bit expensive, so I don't have any Purism device. Purism is not the only supplier of similar kind of products. There's a System 32, I think, is the name of the company, which is a competitor that also sells secure kinds of laptops. So anyway, what is interesting about how Librem approached the problem here is their whole focus is open source. So the whole Pure OS and everything they use and all of the things that are part of Pure OS and sitting on top of Ubuntu. Everything on that is open source. So you can go check and see what they're doing, and if you don't like their code, change the code and run your Linux phone on that new code, and they don't control that. Well, Ubuntu is Debian based, but it's one of the options they offer. I don't believe a word anyway. Camaro Jeff, it doesn't matter if you believe or don't believe. What your problem is that there's some System 76, not System 32. Okay, Jason, thank you, Jason. So the way Purism did this is saying we have control over the operating system, over the code. If we don't like something, we can change it ourselves. Being a programmer, I can do that. I want to SSH into my Linux phone from PuTTY to make phone calls seems efficient. Why do you need to SSH? Why do you need to use PuTTY? Lucifer Sam, have you never heard of the Linux subsystem on Windows? I don't use PuTTY. I use Linux subsystem. I use Ubuntu on my Windows 10. Are you in the dark ages? Ethics-based things often fail before they get. Of course, it's kelp. Then why are you using PuTTY? If you're using, if you're talking about it, then why are you using PuTTY? I'm all Linux and Mac OS. Why do you need PuTTY for any of that? Linux and Mac OS is just bash. You can use that, Doug. Pine OS is Android based. No, Pine OS is Linux based. It's Pine Phone. Pine Phone is Linux based, not Android based. Obviously, I wouldn't SSH into a phone. I can SSH into, to this. I can even VNC onto this. So you should read the Purism Librem 5 forum where you live really matters to which baseband you'll need. I believe it matters only if you're caring about being on Verizon. Since I'll never be on Verizon, then I'm on T-Mobile, so I'm on the standard. Can you tell me what city I'm in? Camaro Jeff, I don't care what city I'm in. I'm not the one that you have to worry about. Camaro Jeff, you're asking me questions like I'm the one you should be afraid of. I'm a nobody. Okay? So, Camaro Jeff, you're hiding from the people who know who you are, and you're asking me and telling me, oh, you don't know where I am. I was like, I am not the issue. These guys are VPNing into Scope and getting banned. Do you take call-ins? How do I take call-ins? This is OBS. There's no call-in option to OBS. Device ID, no. What is the device ID, Lucifer Sam? You need to understand what you're saying. What do you mean by device ID? Periscope isn't that sophisticated. No, the MAC address does not cross into the internet. MAC address, well, it'll never happen, Kelp, because by the time that I take a call in, maybe I will no longer be on Periscope. Does your premium VPN offer unlimited data? Yes, Lirigiri, of course. It does offer unlimited data up to 6 people. Up to 6 simultaneous users. So it's, it's more than anybody else offers. Up to 6 simultaneous users. High bandwidth. We're not, none of my servers even approach 50% capacity. Does not even come close to that. So they're not even gonna, I have gigabit Ethernet to my servers, and I have unlimited data that I prepaid, so that we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so it's all prepaid and all that. So, and the other thing that you need, guys, is a VPN router. Now, you don't understand how your VPN experience improves with a VPN router. We've got fiber's throughput good. It's going to be much better than many VPNs to a degree, but it's not going to be as fast as fiber, obviously, because that depends on all the routes in between. If you're sitting right next to the server, you're going to get gigabit speeds, but obviously it depends on where you are. Okay, because you're going through your home network, and I found that kind of varies quite a bit. T-Mobile uses band 12 in rural areas too, and the default Gemalto doesn't support band 12. So some dude, I hope they have a recommendation for which one to use. I did see that Broad Mobi has more frequencies, so I'll certainly keep an eye on it. Hello, Lavelle Logan. Sorry I didn't greet you. So okay. So I was talking to. Okay. Hello, Lenny PR. So I think that VPN only supports you from the random jackass who might want to dox you, sir. I think the VPN only protects you from. Camaro Jeff, you certainly don't understand the threat here, and who your threat is. Yeah, your VPN will protect you from the random jackass. Yes. However, it doesn't protect you from the serious players like Apple, Google, Facebook, that has other means of spotting you. How do you protect yourself from Facebook when they're recording your MAC address? Through the VPN. How do you protect yourself against that? Could you tell me? That's what we're talking about. If you don't understand the technology, you don't understand who the threat is, then you don't know how to fix it. Okay, so simply saying, I'm going to use a VPN. Oh, yeah, the locations aren't part of the VPN problem. They're part of the OS. Well, good, Camaro Jeff, but you're using an iOS and an Android phone, right? No, no, Scope does not know anything about IMEI. My Wi-Fi calling doesn't work well. I have to change LTE and call works. Oh, does your Wi-Fi calling block VPNs, Lenny PR? You may have a Wi-Fi calling that blocks VPNs. Interesting. That's interesting to note. Very interesting point. Mobile, okay, so where was I? I got confused. Maybe, but I don't know why. The carrier is blocked. This is Wi-Fi. The carrier may be blocking VPNs. Could have a double NAT too. No, that no that. But if you're using, I don't use that that Wi-Fi calling thing. But they may you allow it only from their own IP addresses. I think with administrator rights, they can grab unique info. Lucifer Sam, you can't. The app has to have the kind of sophistication. In my experience, Periscope is not sophisticated enough to do. They don't have that kind of resources over there. Okay, Facebook is the one that has the kind of resources we're talking about. These are pretty advanced things that somebody like me can do, but I don't think people in Periscope know how to do that. I can do it. And Facebook figured it out. That's why when I saw they figured it out, I know exactly how they did it, and I said, Zuckers. They purposely got around your privacy rights, your permissions, and Facebook is tracking you in spite of the permissions that you have given it. So it's really, really, really zucked up. Okay, so anyway, this is really truly exciting, and I hope that I get the phone sooner rather than later. I may start playing. I just don't have time because I'm building these security products. Um, I'd like to get a guy's info that start. I'd like to get a guy's info that easy, Macedon. Get us email. If there's any way to get the guy's email, then you can find them. Okay, well, maybe I don't need to tell you this, but there's a video that explains. You have to write the program for it though, so you can beacon the guy. Beacon. I have some videos that talk about how you do it and how I did it. It's on my hackathon video number 3, I believe. Hackathon. So yes, so you can beacon somebody, and that will ping who they are and their location. I tell you how to protect against that though, but typically a average person isn't going to know how to protect themselves from a beacon. If you watch my videos, you will know how to protect yourself from a beacon. I cannot be beaconed. You cannot be beaconed if you watch me. But a stranger can easily be beaconed because they don't know about beaconing. It's not something that they are aware of. So so I can easily beacon them. But I want to make sure you guys can't be beaconed. So how do you do that? You use Thunder. What is it? Thunder what? Thunderbird as your email client. That will prevent beaconing. If you use Thunderbird as your email client, you cannot be beaconed. Do not use anything on your local network that is not Thunderbird. If you're using a phone, do not use a phone email on your local network, or it will reveal your IP address. Do not, and location. Don't do that. Okay, so anyway, just to Macedon is Don Steaks. Changed names. Okay, so anyway, just again to summarize, I did order my Librem 5 back in July, so I'm not going to be in the first batch. Some people pre-ordered, like a year ago. So I probably won't be in the first batch to get it, but I'm excited. And I paid, I got the higher price. They raised it by $50. I paid $650 plus tax, so they charged me tax. So I paid $710 for the phone. So hopefully it'll be a phone that will actually last a long time. Next month is September, so you may play Christmas in September tunes on the piano. Let PR, it depends if, I think Christmas songs are probably not going to be demonetized by YouTube, so maybe. Yeah, so yes, use Thunderbird. So anyway, I hope you learn a little bit about the new approach here with Librem 5. And Librem 5 is not going to operate with Periscope. You can run YouTube. You can run Periscope.tv on it, but you won't be able to use the app. So, it's going to be different. Some of you will find that unacceptable because you want your app and you whatever. So if you don't care about your privacy, nothing's going to change. You're going to use your existing platform. I hope to get people thinking that maybe that is not the only option. Maybe you can use something like an iPad at home, and when you're traveling around, you use a Librem 5. That is one way to protect your privacy by leaving these devices in one location, because they can't collect any more data if they stick in one place. So anyway. Okay, my friend, so I will talk to you soon. I'm sorry about the bad broadcast yesterday, and not sure if I'm going to be broadcasting tomorrow. I haven't decided since. You can talk to me on Brax. Anyone can talk to me on Brax.me. That's the only platform where you can actually talk to me. Okay? So go to brax.me if you want to talk to me. But don't try to, leave messages on Twitter because I'll just look at it, but I won't respond to it. Okay, guys? So and then we'll come up with more videos next week. Again, to remind you, I'm starting to make all these security products. This is the first product I'm making here. So just I didn't close it up, but this is just to see. It has a camera mount in the back, and let me see if I don't break it here. You can see the full innards in there. You can see the sample screens I have already on brax.me showing this. It's on the open community chat. I posted some pictures on there, and so I'm going to be mounting this. I already have a unit outside the house. Proton mail can be beacon depending on the client. No, Lenny, this is a security camera called Brax Secure. So this is a Brax Secure security camera that is much more sophisticated than and safer than Ring. So if you're going to think about security products, do not think of buying a Ring because you will get zucked. Okay, this one is full motion sensor. Do you have a specific camera mount you like for outside setup? Yes. Yes, Eagle Source. It's that's part of the setup. Yeah, and it's mounted with the power line there. It's power over Ethernet, so that's the only cable that goes to it. Then you mount it with a camera mount. I have there's a couple of them there that I use. Yep. Yes, watch me on YouTube, please, right there. All my everything I do is now on YouTube. I thought Ario was more secure. I don't know what Ario is, but in any case, since I make secure apps, I should know a thing or two about security. I'm a cybersecurity expert, so I know more about security than the average folks. So anyway, this is storing the video here. So when you are on your home, you can see your videos immediately on this device. And if you're on Brax, you will see the videos on the cloud directly on Brax, as I have in this example. I actually have. Let me just log in here, and it will cost somewhere around what Ring costs. So it's not going to be too different from Ring. Is that better than from Access Communications? Since I don't know what Access Communications is, I'm going to say yes, it's much better. Is Access Communications a cybersecurity expert? Well, I am. So there's my video. These are all videos of my outside. Okay, there's night camera. So I just tap on that to watch the video. So look at that. There's somebody outside with flashing lights on the video. I just randomly clicked on it. I don't even know what there. See the flashing light? There's a car with flashing lights there. See, trying to hit play on that so you can see. I don't know if you can see. Oops. I think there's a UPS truck there. Yeah, there's a UPS truck. They are the world leading on. Are they cybersecurity experts? 10G. So since I'm the one that's a cybersecurity expert with the app, then I guess that answers that. Okay. So it has the size of a game console. There are. I'm gonna have some smaller units. This is the outside one. So this has wide angle lens, motion sensor. I have some other units that I'm making, but this is the first one, and and it has to be fairly powerful enough because it's actually sending live video. It's uploading videos to the cloud on every time there's a motion, it's uploading 5 megabytes. I don't need to check 10G. Why do I need to care about a Swedish Zucking company? Who Zucking cares? Do they make my app? They don't make my app. Tinkerballs, like I said, you have to understand what the implications are. So you're not going to be able to use Periscope. It's the way it's made is resistant to elements. It's completely sealed. So, you can see there's a we haven't touched the gland. There's a waterproof gland at the bottom, but you can see it's completely covered. Don't get aggressive. You always do that, whatever names you use, 10G, you're like with your different names. You're like disguised as a mailbox. So anyway, it's not big. I mean, it's just a little thick for future parts that we're gonna put inside this. Is it compatible with all actual cellular bands? Are you talking about the Librem? It's replaceable baseband. So they can put any. They sell 2 different basebands with it for you to choose. So then you can choose which carriers you want it to support. You wear yours tight. Yeah, so it's replaceable base. In theory, you can buy multiple basebands and just stick into it like a SIM card. Extremely thick, Mr. Cybersecurity. Whatever, 10G, whatever. Now, what are you going to ask next? What, stock market question? What now? So, bento box security cam. So anyway, I'm just so you understand how we built this. This is a 3D printed case, so it's actually custom, 3D printed. No cloud zucking flare. What the zuck you're talking about? Hey, Brax me. Secure storage on Brax me. Cloudflare. Brax me secured storage. So anyway, so this is just one of the devices. So we had to use a 3D printer to make these. So they're actually customized. So every part of this, including all the mounts and everything, is actually customized. That's why it's waterproof, because it was designed to be. So can we flatten it? Does it come in an IKEA flat pack? Flatten all you want, as long as you pay for it. But if you flatten it, then you don't get any warranty. They're gonna start with enrolls up. Next thing they're gonna start with the enrolls up your zazz. Bird's gonna love it. on a boat we put spikes on things so the birds don't love it. So I've had my camera outside, and I'm by the beach. So if there are birds here, and nothing has been on it. I don't about this bird business. What? Put a big owl on it? That doesn't always work. But what you can do is put little metal strands. Put You can on my boat, to eliminate the birds, we put like metal wires sticking out, and that keeps the birds away. Not gonna do it on this, but in actuality, when you use this, the angle of the device when it's used outside is actually like this. The reason is it's wide angle. So if you put it like that, you're actually looking at the sky. So when I have it mounted, it's almost 45 degrees down. Okay? So in actual use is like this. So if you can see that, then the rain doesn't, it's, you can kind of see where the water and all that will drip. So we shall see. That's why I don't want to release it yet. I want to test it outside for a long time. Is it really waterproof? Can it stand the rain? Do we need to silicone it? I'll worry about siliconing it, 10G. It's going to be water resistant. Pre-orders will start when? So I'm just go to Braxby and look at the pictures of what I have, and just yes, you need a standard. There's camera mounts. I have some. There are camera mounts you can use. It depends on what you want to do, because it depends how you want to mount it. So in my case, I bought a specific kind of camera mount, and because it uses a camera mount, then there's so many options. So you don't need a special anything. Camera mounts, there's so many camera mounts on Amazon, so you can actually choose one you want. I have one that's actually extended down, like it's mounted on the roof overhang, and it's like a vertical thing like this tall, and then the bottom of it has a swiveling camera mount. If the cameras there are so small, why that one has to be so big? To intimidate the thieves, Lenny PR. But the actual reason you can see it has a full computer inside, and so it needs the room for the computer. So if you use a smaller device like a Pi Zero or similar type small device, they don't have the power that this is doing. This is sending videos to the cloud at a rate of 5 megabytes almost nonstop. So at that kind of rate, it needs a lot of processing power. So it's sending HD videos live constantly. So if you don't want that, I can shift it to photo mode, and I'll sell you a smaller device using Raspberry Pi Zeros, be cheaper and so on. But that's not. I designed it so. 10G always has. It's like somebody saying, "I'm talking about Vice VPN," and somebody will say, "Why don't you get IP Vanish?" It's like, suck. Okay, don't shill some other product that doesn't have anything to do with me. The how much they will send in an hour? ET Buck, it's sending around 5 megabytes per event for the average event. It could go higher or lower, but on average, I'm getting 5 megabytes per event. On an average, Busy day, you might get an event every minute. Can I see who's at my door with that widget? Yes, you can see who's your door with that widget, but this is made for outdoor. I'm going to make a different one for the door. So this is not a door ringer thing. It's a camera. So it's a video. It's live video. It does it stores the video, so you have a video history of what's going on, and it's complete motion. Many cameras don't actually do motion. What they do is they sense differences in the picture by percentage, and then that's how they determine if it's motion. This device actually is very good at detecting real motion. As I showed you in the actual examples, it can actually spot real motion. And it's, so far, it's doing it very, very well. So, from my live experience, it beats my prior camera that I spent a lot of money on, like $300, and doesn't have any software that I can access in the cloud. How many types of zoom? It's wide angle LennyPR. There is no zoom. You need a different kind of camera. This one is a wide angle lens. It has a 160 degree angle. So that's almost 180 degrees. 160 degree angle. It's very, very wide. So I'm able to see anything. That's pretty wide angle. So that's almost fish eye. So it's a bit of a fish eye because it added to the cost. It's HD, yes. I have a 4K one, but it's going to be more expensive. And I don't have it ready yet, but I'm still testing. I have a 4K one that I've not yet received. So the 4K one, so this one, there's a fish eye lens right there. So it's an actual fish eye. So as I found out, if you don't have a fish eye, then it's a problem. Can I program my mobile router to be locked to a 4G antenna in my area? Can I program my mobile router to be locked into a 4G antenna? What does that mean? You mean no ISP? Yeah. Yeah, yes, you buy a portable cell tower, a portable cell baseband. They sell that. It's like a data only device. Yeah, there's many of those. Like buy them for like $100, 100 something. And then you put a SIM card on it, and then that's it. Then you're on 4G. So yes, the answer is yes. Now, why you would want that, I don't know. But the answer is yes. Then you can attach it to a router. You can use my Brax Wi-Fi router with that. You can now create your own ISP. Hey, I was gonna make my own cell tower. Then get the right device, one OG. I have a suggestion that thing can be a mesh router at the same time. No, LennyPR, I don't need a mesh router. I sell routers separately. Why do you need it to be a mesh router? You can create a Wi-Fi ISP. Yes. But you don't need to create a Wi-Fi ISP. You can create a cell tower that actually accepts cell signals, but you will not be licensed by the FCC. How do they keep the NCA from infiltrating their feed? What are we talking about? Which feed are we talking about? Yes, Lavendi. It's all these Don't worry, guys. We're testing it now, and will be IP6V certified and compliant. Do they have to keep the video feed from your device? From here? No, this has no external. Guys, this has no external connection. This cannot be accessed from the internet. There is no way to access this from the internet. That's one of the rules. It's actively sending data to BraxMe, but it cannot ask. You cannot ask it for data. It's sent it to you. You don't get a choice. You turn it on at the machine and say, send the data to BraxMe or not. And you don't get a choice saying, oh, can I ask you some other questions, Mr. Device? It doesn't. 10G, get the right one. That's 4G. Why are you asking such mundane technical questions? Obviously, if your MiFi or whatever you call that doesn't support 4G, then it doesn't support 4G. Get one that supports 4G. They're all on Amazon. Goodness, they're very common devices. Your carrier sells them. Okay, what did I miss here? So anyway, we're like extending this. Well, I guess we're making up for my absence yesterday. So anyway, I'm the next one I'm built. So this one is done. This one is done. The software is almost done. I got a few more tweaks. I'm testing the software some more. I got a few more tweaks to make on this, but the software will be done soon. And then is it being tunneled? Yes, Levendi, it is. It's sending it to Brax.me in an encrypted way. Yes. It's sending it to Brax.me encrypted, and then it gets stored encrypted, and that's it. And then you can access it on Brax.me encrypted. You cannot, if you're not on Brax.me, you can't watch the video. Okay? So, I read an article that Tor browsers with Tor routers are monitored by they cannot monitor. They may monitor all they want. They don't know who's using. You cannot monitor a Tor router, but the point is, it doesn't matter if you try to. Lenny PR, just watch the video. Can you be de-anonymized by Tor? I already made a video about this a couple weeks ago. Just watch that. That answers your question. The name of the video is "Can you be de-anonymized by Tor?" On Tor. Can you be de-anonymized on Tor? Watch that video, and it gives a very clear answer. Then it's a wrong zucking device. Get a get the proper one. You're asked Tor browser, darknet, and deep web. Tor browser is not the darknet and the deep web. The Tor browser is a Tor browser. The Tor router is a Tor router. Tor is a relay. Now, in the relay, you could access the deep web and the darknet if you want. I don't go there. I just pass through Tor. I don't need to stay inside the Tor inside Tor itself, which is where you have hidden services. They're called hidden services, which is often called the dark web. I don't have any need to be on there, so I don't go there. It is not interesting to me. So if you go there, you can go hang out with the FBI, because they hang out. The FBI is the busiest people on the hidden services. So I don't need to worry about that. Watch my video, Can You Be De-Anonymized on Tor? Because I already answer all that. Okay? You're welcome, AMG. But you avoid the freeway? Yeah, it's like Enlighten Up. They say bad people use encryption, so we should ban encryption, which is the answer of some governments like Australia. Australia said, we'll ban encryption. It's like, fuck you. Then you don't get any banking. You don't do any banking now because if you're not encryption, then you do banking. He said he avoids identity or whatever. Okay. Anyway, any more questions before I run here? Just ask me now, and then we'll go back to videos till next week. I'm really busy with all these programming things. I'm rushing. I'm telling you though, I'm so pleased with where this is. Thank you, Twitty. I am so pleased where this has gotten. I can still revise the case. If we're still able to, we still have time to come up with an alternate design here. But the whole point was just to get it operational, and so we were like thinking about changing colors and putting double tones, and because we can print this in any color you want. Are you going to YouTube your camera? Yes, I will. Hey, when it's ready, I will demonstrate this on YouTube. Yes. So it's almost ready for that. But I want to make some progress with my other devices. So once I know exactly where I'm going here, because part of this, what I do, by the way, is called being a maker. So being a maker is it's the new thing now, where you're like a small business and you make little products like this, kind of like a cottage industry. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making like cottage industry things that for things that I specialize in, since I specialize in internet security. Then it makes sense to make products that relate to internet security. A lot of these products are made in China. So if you a lot of these products are made in China. So the problem is, if you don't understand the software, and they don't have anyone making the software, so they do crappy things on the software side because they don't know anything about that, and then you don't know what they put on the software in China. They don't do any cybersecurity. They got IoT devices that can be attacked, and somebody can hack your camera. This is a camera that cannot be hacked. You cannot hack this camera from the internet. It doesn't have any internet connectivity. Yet it sends data to the internet. It sends data to the internet, but it cannot be hacked through the internet. There's no open ports. ET Buck, yes, that's there's going to be a base station for that. That's going to be probably that ET Buck. That's another Raspberry Pi. And no, I don't want to answer your question, OG. You're like you're disruptive. In the way to design programs for apps to doctors. Any new developments in the way to design programs for apps to doctors? I am not in the medical field anymore, Lenny PR. I don't really care what they do to apps for doctors. That's controlled by the Health and Human Services now. Live streaming on your internal LAN. Is it bulletproof too? It is not bulletproof. One OG, if you want to ask a question on Brax offline, then do so. But don't disrupt a broadcast, because the only don't disrupt a broadcast. One OG, you're always asking these off-topic things just to bug me. Next thing you're gonna ask is you want me to invest in you and whatever. So yes, ET Buck, the master controller, I actually have all of this already figured out. I just haven't written the software for it yet, which is to be able to actually turn off devices on and off, which obviously can do other things like control alarms. The only problem, ET Buck, is what constitutes an alarm, and that's why I need more sensors. The bells will be loud enough to be heard over loud running equipment. E.T. Buck, what if the bell was outside? I can actually mount the bell anywhere. You can mount the bell anywhere in the system, because it's a computer by itself. It's it's gonna be if you're gonna do a real sophisticated job here, it's gonna have a lot of pieces. And it may be expensive if you want to go full scale. You can start small with one of these, but the way I figured, you can actually have a full system with much more security that can be offered by companies like Simply Safe and Ring. What brand is the router that you're selling? Brax Wi-Fi. What the fuck are you talking about? It's my Wi-Fi. How the chime or siren will work with that cam? No, Lenny PR, that's part of the whole subsystem. You cannot attach a siren to this cam because simply having motion is not itself a intrusion. There are different levels of determining what intrusion is. So you have to have a tripwire for actual intrusion, and that's what we're talking about. And that needs a separate sensor. A camera is not an intrusion sensor. This does not sense intrusion. It senses motion. Hello, Tim Bear. This is a motion detecting device. It senses everything. You may or may not want notifications for it, but it's not going to sense an intrusion. There has to be other sensors for that. If you understand what I'm saying, then you understand that you cannot be safe on one device. If you want to be completely safe, you need multiple devices. So, and it's not going to be inexpensive because you're going to need a lot of parts. And I paid a lot of money for my security systems here. When a door is open, that is when the bell needs to sound. ET bug, not necessarily. You can sense that a whole bunch of ways. You can have remote door sensors. The problem with the remote doors, ET bug, I'm kind of I have a lot of experience with security systems. The problem with a door sensor is then you have to put a window sensor and door sensor in every room, in every window, and that also gets expensive. So the better way is to do the radar. You can cover large areas with a radar. So you put a radar sensor in different parts of the house, and then you say, okay, this device I'm out of the house, therefore all the sensors should fire as an alarm. Or I'm sleeping, so I only want the sensor to fire if it's by the door. That kind of thing. So that's what I'm thinking about. The sensors will be cheap. The sensors themselves will not be that expensive. The expense will be on the controlling computers, like this. This has a computer in it, and it needs it because it's sending megabytes of data. But the other devices will just feed to the central controller, which will be another computer, and that computer will receive the data from the sensors, which will be wireless, radio controlled. And the remote signals will then feed to the computer. The computer will decide then if it's an alarm. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so I'm not there yet. I'm only showing you the camera portion of this. So, but I have all the pieces for that. I just have to. I'm not yet there. This is I'm not even sure if I can make the main module by Christmas. I'm not certain. But after that, are you to consider built alarm system? Yes, Lenny PR. Are you to consider? No, I'm going to sell you an alarm system with it. Yes. When a customer comes in my front door, I'm in my warehouse. I need a bell. I can do that. Yes. Yes, ET Buck. Yes, that it will do now. This will even do that. If you mount this in your let's say inside the office interior, this will motion detect if somebody comes into the thing. This will send a notification to your phone already as is. Not a bell alarm at the moment, but a phone notification. So it will be a simple matter to say, can I use that to trigger a bell? Yeah, that'll be a simple matter. So just tell me what you need, ET Buck, and I'll make sure to build that into the plan. A lot of this is very, very configurable. So I'm not worried about what we can probably configure it to any purpose. Alarm, intrusion, or customer detection. It doesn't have to be straight alarm. It can be a little beep sound. It can be a large siren. All these parts are all available there. You can make the sound be very loud. You can make the sound be more like a beep, and so on. Hello, Lars, my friend. I need a bell more than I need photos. Yeah, okay. Good to know, E.T. Buck. Hello, Lars. How are you doing, buddy? Good morning. Good morning. So anyway, that's that. I will definitely put that into the equation. I hope so, Lenny, because I'm here focusing on security for your internet security, and might as well consider all the parts that affect your internet security, including your security modules. And the reason I'm responding to this is because companies like Amazon are selling you Ring, a very evil kind of product, and Google's selling you Google Nest, and you're thinking, oh, Google Nest, that is super. Okay, I want to make sure we're differentiating that. I am not Google. I am not Amazon. I'm not going to be spying on you. These devices are built not to spy. Okay, they cannot be spied on. So that's the plan. Okay, went overtime here, guys. So I will thank you for watching tonight, and I'll see you in a video in the middle of the week. And let me see. I have a gig in the later part of the week, but I'm not going to broadcast it though. So I do have a gig. I had a gig today too. So I had a gig all day, and then gig on Thursday. So anyway, I'll see you back here next Friday at least, and then one or two videos during the middle of the week. And thanks for coming, guys. Thank you, Lenny PR. Thank you. Okay, Lenny PR, don't forget to remind me to reset South VPN. South VPN, right after this. Lars, my goodness, Lars, you caught me while I'm ending. Okay, well, of course you're going to catch me as I'm ending. It's the time when you wake up. So, Lenny PR, I will do South VPN. Okay, good night, my friends. Bye-bye.